اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد.
There are furthermore details for qiraat, which I will go that inshallah, so that we have no mistakes in our namaz. So when can you leave out reciting the other surah? For example, this is very important masla. For example, this happened many times in a fajr, that there's no time, the namaz is getting qaza and you have no time. And when you don't have time, so what you can do, like so we should know the ruling. So if the time for prayers is really very short, or one is compelled not to recite the other surah, there is no time, because what is the rule? You should at least, if you have time, if you have literally half minute, and you can at least complete one rakat. So in that case, or there's an emergency that he or she fears that if recite the other surah, thief or predatory animal or something else will harm him, then he can leave the other surah after Alham. So these are the exceptions when you can leave out reciting the other surah because of shortage of time, that namaz is getting qaza, especially for fajr. So you can leave the other surah in order, because we need to complete at least one rakat before the qaza time. Okay, so this masala is important in that circumstances. And when you must not recite the other surah is, or if one has some urgent matter to attend to, in these cases he can leave out reciting the other surah. In fact, when time is short, and in some cases where one is fearful, he must not recite the other surah. So these are some exceptions, if that when you can leave out reciting the other surah after hum. So these are exceptions, not in the normal cases, but this is the masla, so that you know what can you do, inshallah. And now next go to the another details of qira'ah, which is also the non-rukun part of our namaz. So that is a question, that can we change the order of surahs? So there is a ruling that if a person intentionally recites the other surah before surah hum, his prayers are invalid, बातिल हो जाएगी नमाज अगर जानबूझ के किया. But if he mistakenly recites the other surah before surah al-hum and realizes that his mistake while he is reciting, he must stop reciting it, then recite surah hum, then recite the other surah from the beginning. So see the difference. If anybody is doing it deliberately, then the namaz will be batil. Surah should be in order. But if he does, or he or she has done mistakenly, then he has to stop right away and recite Surah Hamd first and then the other surah. And if you forget reciting Surah Hamd and Surah, for example, if a person forgets to recite Surah Hamd and the other surah and realizes this after going into ruku, his prayers are valid. So forgets, padhna na bhul gaya, and then he goes to the next rukun. Ruku is the rukun of the namaz, and he goes in the ruku, so it's okay, because he already entered in the another rukun, and this is non-part. Qira is the non-part of rukun. If he make mistake in the rukun part, then his namaz will be invalid. But this is the rukun part, and this is the non-rukun part. Qira is, I already mentioned, we are doing today the non-rukun part, qira. So then his prayers are valid if he does that forgetfully. Now let's go in the another detail of the surah. Is what, like if you forget reciting a surah and remember before ruku. So if in that case, that is the ruling, is before bending for ruku. When you bend in the ruku, one realizes that he has not recited Surah Hamd and the other surah, he must recite them. So it is before going in the had of the ruku. If you realize that he has not recited, he bent and he just bent and he realized that I did not recite Surah Hamd and the other surah, then he must recite them. Immediately you have to recite them. But if he realizes that he has recited Surah Hamd but not the other surah, he must recite only the other surah. If you have confusion for the other surah, then you must recite the other surah. However, if you realize that he has not recited Surah Hamd only, he must first recite Surah Hamd and then he must recite the other surah again. Because we have to maintain the order. So you have to recite. If you just realize that you have not recited Surah Hamd, then you do the Surah Hamd and then the other surah. And similarly, if one bends forward, but before getting into the ruku, like you bend, but before getting into the ruku position, he realizes that he has not recited Surah Hamd and the other surah, or only the other surah, or only the Surah Hamd, he must stand up straight and act according to what has been mentioned earlier in this ruling. So this is before you just bend, but you did not reach to ruku. And you realize, so you should stand straight and then recite whatever is missing. Surah Hamd is missing, Surah Hamd and the other surah. So these are all the possibilities. If you forget reciting a surah, remember before ruku, you can stand up and do that, inshallah.
اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد